Welcome back to Hey Funny's Dark Souls, episode 4. We are just about ready. I think I've mildly explained a lot of the fundamentals good so far in layman's terms, in English, as they used to tell me when I did tech support. One thing I noticed that I missed when explaining the stats of this weapon here. That 8-8 required parameters, that is the stats that requires for you to have if you want to hold that and use it properly in one hand. With a lot of weapons, if you don't quite meet one of the required parameters, some of them will actually let you use the weapon in two-handed mode, and it will specify that when you try to equip a weapon that you don't quite meet the system requirements for. If it says you don't have the strength to use this in anything but two-handed mode, that's what that means. So you can still use it in two-handed mode and block with it, but you won't be able to use a shield. So keep that in mind. And also another thing, like I said, when you hit the X button, it switches to this screen that tells more about the weapons and armor. But if you hit it again, it brings up another screen where it basically says what the weapon is, the attack type of the weapon, and it will also tell you on this screen if the item, weapon, armor has any special abilities. So this is a good thing to read carefully, because there's a lot of people that passed over a lot of really good pieces of armor, equipment, or items because they didn't actually read this screen, because they had no idea that a weapon that may have been a slightly lower damage actually had a special ability. So make sure you read up on each item that you find, just in case it's something that you can really use for your playstyle, or just in case it has a special ability that's really useful. Okay, so and another thing, when you, like I said in the last episode, you can have up to 2 weapons, melee weapons, and 2 shields equipped at the same time, but that does have a drawback, because if you have, let me bring up my equipment load screen. If you have, see how with this, with the hand axe and the shield, my equipment load is now 10, which is still lower than 25%, so I'm good. But if I equip the straight sword hilt in my other slot, that's going to put my equipment upload again. So if you have 4 different items in there equipped all at once, it's still as if you're carrying them all. So that's going to lower your equipment load. So make sure you have enough endurance, so basically enough of a max equipment load to be carrying all 4 of those items without really slowing you down. So, all right, let's go see. Let's go see what that archer wants. Oh, he's back. Look at that. I've been waiting for you. Don't think running is going to help you. Oh yeah! I almost forgot. I forgot to mention... do I? No, I can't go back there right now. At that very beginning, when you're walking down that hallway, when you kill those 2 guys that don't attack you, if I would have looked to the right, you would have saw what was making those loud footstep noises. Because there is another demon that's similar to that first big guy that attacked us in that room that we ran away from. But this is the big brother of that one that's in a cage that you can't get to right away until you come back here. But that's what was making that noise. Oh, and a nice little tidbit of information. That bow guy right there, if you're lucky, he will actually drop that short bow when you kill him. There's another one over here that you can kill that also has the chance to drop the short bow. You can also, if you just feel the need to farm until you get a bow for free instead of having to spend 1,000 souls on it when you get to the first shopkeeper, you can go back to the bonfire, use it, that'll respawn the enemies, then you can go back up there and kill him, and you know, have another chance of him to drop the item. But you do have to buy arrows for the bow. It doesn't have unlimited ammo. And if he drops it, he's not going to drop any ammo, so you'll still have to buy ammo before you can even use it. Okay, let's see. What's this say? Backstep is B, and left stick plus B is roll. So basically what it's saying is, if you are standing still, or if you have your shield up and you hit the B button without, you know, putting the left analog stick in a specific direction, you will just jump back. And the cool thing about that is, if somebody's trying to attack you and you hit that at the right time, you can jump back, and then if you hit your light attack right away, you'll automatically swing back and do a quick attack on the enemy, and sometimes that'll catch them off guard and hit them before they even get a chance to attack again. So that's a nice little ability. And for rolling, you just, you know, whichever way you're facing, you hit that B button, and you'll roll. And as you can see there, it does use stamina. And since I'm under 25%, I can run the fastest speed, and I can roll the fastest speed. That doesn't look good. You can notice that through this little window over here, or gate, crushed gate, there's a dude in there, and it looks, I'm thinking that that's the guy that threw that undead guy into your cell at the beginning. I think that's who that is. Just a guess, though. Now, this looks like a trap waiting to happen, and since I've already done it, I know that it is. But I also know that if you, well, either go over there or kind of stay on the side, you can miss it. Otherwise, you just walk up there. It's just gonna take half your energy, and that's not good. And look at this guy. Did you throw that ball down there? You are so gonna die. In fact, I think I'm actually going to punish you. Hey, I wonder if I can parry with this shield. Let's try it. You gonna do it? Yes! That is what we call a parry and a riposte, which basically means that if you hit the left trigger, you will do a parry action with your shield, and if you do it at the right time, it takes a lot of practice to figure out. Some shields, it's slightly different, like the shield that the thief starts with. I don't like that, even though it says it makes it easier to parry. I don't think it, I don't believe it. I've never been able to parry easier with that shield. I think it's easier with just a regular shield. But you parry, and if you hear that noise, that doom, then you hit the right bumper real quick, and you'll do a special, like, critical attack. You can also do backstabs if you strafe around the back of somebody, as long as your shield is not up at the time, and as long as you're pretty much centered in on them. Sometimes it won't work, though, if they're in the middle of like an attacking animation, or, you know, there's specific issues where it doesn't always work. But if you are directly behind them, you don't have your shield up, and sometimes I even think that you kind of need to be pushing towards them from behind, and that I usually get it every time I do that correctly. But look who we got here.
Oh, you. You're no hollow, hmm? Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity.
Well, that's not
I wish
good.
to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Wonder what happened to that dude. Maybe he got squashed by that ball. Or maybe that demon took him out. Yeah, sure.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family: thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, The fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
Why, thank you, sir.
Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
That last thing that he said is a little spoiler for later when you come back to this place, because he will attack you when you come back. He's going to be in the same exact spot. But if you attack him and can defeat him when you come back, you get his shield. That shield, it's called the Crest Shield, and it is has extremely high magic attack resistance. So if you're fighting a boss that uses magic attacks predominantly, and you are holding that shield up and have enough stamina, it's barely going to hurt you. This says, rest at bonfire, replenish Estus flask. So basically, these potions that they give you, it drops it down there. You can have up to 5 different like usable items equipped, and then you use the down D-pad to select between the different ones. And then while you have them equipped, whichever one you have on there, you use the X key to use it. It sounds like he just passed away, which gives us some souls. So yay. Sucks that he had to die to do that, but you know, whatnot. Whatever works. And here is the first bonfire that we went to. So now that I've done that, all the monsters have respawned, and but I've also recovered all my health. See, we can't get in there. It got locked after we went in there. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys. Is that rest of bonfire work for HP? Okay, since we can go down there now. Oh, when you're on ladders, you press A to climb down, or you know, climb up them, up or down on the left D or left analog stick. You can also hit the B button on the 360 to slide down, so that definitely helps. Oh, and also when you're on a ladder, if there's an enemy that's climbing down from above, you can use the attack to attack them, and the heavy attack to kick down. But if you do that too much and you're out of stamina, you can fall, or if they hit you too many times when they're coming down the thing, they can cause you to fall. Yeah, see, now that we have this actual proper weapon that's sharpened, we can do a heck of a lot more damage. Even though this character, the Pyromancer, only starts out at level 1. Some of the other characters, even though their stats are not that much higher, start out at like level 5 or 6. So that's another thing that I like about the Pyromancer, is you start out at the lowest level. But back to where we started from down here. So you can hear those footsteps. That's another thing you have to worry about when you're in tight quarters. Some weapons will bounce off of walls, so make sure that you take note of that when you're looking at weapons. I don't think. Yeah, that is an overhead chop. When you push forward on the left analog stick and the heavy attack, you'll do a jumping down strike. So that type of attack, you're still safe doing in a small quarters, as long as they don't jump out of the way. But when you come back to this asylum, you're in for a surprise, because you have to fight that guy. He may not look that much bigger than the other one, but this guy is a lot bigger and a lot tougher. And there's been so many people that had to fight that guy 50 times before they even got a good chance to kill him. One move that is not in the manual for the game, which I thought was kind of strange. I don't know if it was a typo or if they just forgot to put it in. When you're running, if you hit the B button again, instead of just rolling, you'll do a jump and a roll. But you have to do it, you have to let off it and then hit it again in quick succession. And that will allow you to get to certain areas that you couldn't get to before. And cross small gaps and things like that. So that's a very useful skill to master. Alright. This guy's back. And see, he's a lot tougher than those guys down at the bottom. That's why he took more than one hit to kill. Weld right weapon two-handed. Okay. So if we hit Y, you see that even if you have a shield equipped, you will switch to two-handed mode. And what this does is, for one, it increases the damage of your weapon. So it's more the max damage of the weapon. But it does take more stamina when you attack. But you can block with it. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Pyromancy Flame. This is the fire glove item that I was talking about. And the cool thing about Pyromancy is once you get that, you can use your fire spells as long as you have the spells equipped. Although, in this particular type of catalyst for Pyromancy spells, it doesn't weigh anything because it's just like a glove, I don't know. Maybe it's just saying that it's the flame that goes in your hand. Which now, if I switch, hitting the right D-pad, I'll switch to that and I can use my fireballs. Show you what that looks like. And what I said about targeting enemies, see if that guy was still around the corner, it wouldn't necessarily let me target it unless I rotated the screen to where I could see him. Let's see if we can... Alright. Oh, he got me. Didn't do it fast enough. I noticed that sometimes the controls lag a little bit when you have your shield up, to where it will, especially if somebody's attacking, it will wait until you lower your shield before it actually does the move. And I don't know if that's just kind of a controller type input error, or if they meant for it to do that. But I notice it doing that every once in a while. You can still do things while you have your shield up, but just sometimes it doesn't work. And the only way to get it to work is if you lower your shield. Or it sometimes just starts doing it manually when you least expect it. And it's not just attacks that happens to sometimes. Sometimes it's using an Estus flask as well, so that can sometimes get you into trouble when you're in the middle of a boss battle. Okay, so... Ooh. Invited you to the barbecue. What's it say? While falling, plunging attack. Okay, this is very important because it's useful for a lot of different bosses and enemies in the game. If you have a monster targeted, it's much easier to accomplish this by targeting the monster first. From when you're above them and there's a ledge to fall off, while you're falling, hit the right bumper, so your light attack with your weapon out, and you will actually do attack as you're falling, and that does a lot of damage to a monster when you do that, as long as they don't block it or jump out of the way. As with the other things on this thing over here, using the D-pad changes your spells as well if you have more than one spell equipped. And with the spells, see how it says 5 there? You only get a certain amount of charges after each visit to the bonfire from your spells. So you don't have a magic bar that replenishes itself. You can only use that spell a certain amount of times before it's exhausted and you have to go back to a bonfire before it's refilled. But in some cases in the game, there are NPCs that sell the same spell twice. Or, you know, like the first pyromancy guy that you meet, he sells fireball as well. So if you start out as a pyromancer and you have more than one spell slot, you can buy 2 of them, equip them both, and then you don't have to switch back and forth between 2 different sets of fireball spells. You'll just have double the normal amount. So that's really handy when you equip 2, like, of the combustion spell, for example, because that you get, I think it's either 25 or 30 charges of it, and then if you equip another one, you get double that. So that's a very handy thing to have. And over here, that's what it's talking about, the parry and the riposte. So basically, left trigger to parry, but you have to do it like right before the enemy's attack hits you, and then right directly after, as soon as you hear that noise that you got a successful parry, you have to do the L1. And if you're not close to them, it won't work. You got to be right up on the enemy to get it to work. Let's see if I can hear it. That's it right there. And like I said, that looks easy. I got it the first try on both of those guys, but that is actually very difficult until you really get used to it. And get used to. I definitely recommend you studying each monster that you encounter, especially like these guys, like those knights, and like these guys, to watch their different animations, watch their moves, watch their patterns, because some of their attacks actually start swinging at different times. You have to get used to each attack so you know when to parry. The easiest thing is still going to be to circle around him and get a backstab, as long as it's a humanoid type enemy. Some enemies you can't do backstabs on. Okay, so let's see here. I think pretty much the only thing left to do is go this way. Traverse the White Blight. And there's our buddy. See, I got him targeted. Fall. Oh, and that took off almost half his energy. Okay, see, some of those attacks will still hit you. I didn't quite have enough stamina. Actually, it's this shield. This shield doesn't block all the damage that they do. See, I still took a little bit of damage off of that. Oh, no! Oh, you got me with it. I hate that attack because it kind of sweeps to the side. And hit an Estus flask real quick. You're pretty safe if you're behind him to attack him. Get a good volley of attacks in after he does that. Right. I assume I made that look really easy. Most people die on that guy several times doing that. As long as you get that falling attack in. And what you need to do is basically you look down, if you have to rotate the camera a little bit so you can see him all the way, and then target him with the right analog stick by clicking it in. Because if he's not targeted, you don't necessarily always hit him with the falling attack, with the plunging attack, if you don't have him targeted. Because if he's targeted, you will definitely swing in the right direction to where you'll hit him. But you can't do it too late either. So, since I killed him, might as well come down here and hit this bonfire, refill my fireballs, and refill my flasks. Ooh, I'm gonna kill this guy again, just in case he drops that arrow, or the bow. Oh, while you're running, if you hit your attack, you'll do like a swing attack. Come back here! Like that. Die! Darn, didn't drop it. Maybe the one over here will. Might as well kill them to get a few extra souls before I leave. This guy's up here again. Just as I don't know if any of my viewers watch Epic Name Bros walkthrough of the Japanese version of Dark Souls. Just as he said, if you are having trouble with parries and backstabs, the easiest way to attack enemies, you don't want to just run right up to them and attack them head on, unless you have a weapon that's got a decent amount of range. But the easiest way to do is just, you know, to block with your shield and then either circle around them and attack, especially if it's somebody that's heavily armored. Hey! Stop that. Is just to block them and then start attacking. And one thing of note is when you are blocking, let me just deplete my stamina. I got my shield up and notice my stamina is not regenerating very fast. It's because I have my shield up. Take the shield down and it does that. So you only want to block when you need to, if you have to worry about stamina. Some enemies, when you attack them, it's okay to just go ahead and attack them, get a full volley of attacks in when you first run up to them. If it's somebody like a bow, somebody with a bow or somebody with a crossbow, because those attacks will stun them, they'll stagger, and they won't be able to attack you as long as you keep attacking them. So sometimes it's safe to do. These guys, it's not safe to do, just due to the fact that sometimes they'll throw their shield up. There's backstab. So you notice you have to be behind them, but if you have your shield up, see, it doesn't do a backstab. So you got to make sure you drop your shield before you try it. Okay, it's getting close to 30-minute mark again. Next episode, we are going to leave the Undead Asylum and be transported off to where the game really starts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.